What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and I am back for yet another album review for you guys, and, well, we're talking about a pretty big band here. We're talking about the 5th studio album from Ghost, called Impera. Not gonna get into the whole history of the band because, well, let's be real, everybody who's watching this video or has seen my YouTube channel will know about this band, so enough of all that. Let's get right into the music. So we kick things off with the opening instrumental, which was Imperium, which was largely an acoustic guitar instrumental with some melodic electric guitars and marching drums following suit to get us set for track number 2, Kaiserion, which has some really cool guitar harmonies to start things off. And the harmonies are very similar to Iron Maiden, but the lick itself reminds me of The Spirit of the Radio by Rush. It kind of mirrored that a little bit for me, which I love because, well, I love Rush, and I love that song. But afterwards, the track gets more into this, like, up-tempo style, very similar to Iron Maiden, or even a little bit of, like, the Ramones for a little bit. And the bass definitely has moments of shine on this track all throughout. The chorus, however, on this song kind of has a little bit of an epic feel to it. The bridge of the track kind of gets into this like Black Sabbath swing with the groove and the riff going on top of it, leading into the lead section, which I thought was well performed for what it was going for. Now, be prepared to hear me sound like a broken record throughout this entire review because the lead work on this album is really, really fun. Moving on to the next track, Spillways, which has this like nice 80s keyboards, 80s synth influence to start things off, but thick guitars coming in on top. And the verses and the chorus definitely carries forth that 80s pop influence with how these hooks are just so damn catchy, but the guitars still provide a rougher edge to everything going on. For the most part, it's like the vibe kind of reminds me a little bit of The Cars, but with those heavier guitars. It makes for a unique sound. Love the lead work on this track as well, because the lead on this track kind of has like a nice balance of like 80s pop flair and a little bit of shred. It was like the two were coming together, so to speak, to become one. Then we get into Call Me Little Sunshine, which is maybe a bit of a corny title. I will admit, it's a little bit corny, but the song itself is fucking fantastic. Starts off with some dark acoustic guitars to kind of build the song up. The electric guitars coming in with some of that Black Sabbath influence once again. The bass pounding all throughout. The verses and the chorus carries more of that darker tone compared to I can't even fucking speak. It has this like perfect contrast to the first two tracks, where this one's a little heavier, a little darker, and the song itself kind of reminds me of their song Series from Meliora at moments. Another tasty lead section to bring the song to a close, and so far, the best song on the album. Then we get into Hunter's Moon, which I believe, if I'm correct, I believe this song was the first single off of it, and I think it was for the Halloween Kills soundtrack. It's a fun, like, 80s inspired horror vibe going on with the intro. Also had a little bit of moments that reminded me of Billy Idol, which is kind of weird, but the verses kind of keep that horror vibe going, while the chorus is, again, very catchy and really hooky. The bridge, bringing in more of those thick guitars to add a little more heaviness, and then the lead on this track had more feel going for it than just all-out shred. Watcher in the Sky being the next track on the album, this is one of the standouts for me on the entire album. Creepy ambience right away before the guitars come in swinging. The riff that gets us started is one of the best riffs on the entire album, and maybe the heaviest riff up to this point. The chorus on this track definitely stands out as one of the best as far as hooks go. The guitars chug very well after the first chorus, heading into the second verse. Overall, the feel on this track, it kind of sounds like it sits right in between Infestissimum and Meliora. It's like, it sounded like this could have been like a transitional song between those two albums, because it's a little heavier, a little darker, and it kind of fits more into that old school or early Ghost sound. The bridge on here, once again, bringing a little bit of that epic feel, leading into an awesome 80s influenced lead section. After a kind of pointless horn instrumental with Dominion, yeah, Dominion, what the fuck am I talking about? Then we get into the song 20s, and I was kind of dreading listening to this song, because already hearing from friends about this song that they did not like it. I will say this, to describe the music: you get some cool orchestral parts, some heavy riffs and some wacky drums, and another great lead section. The problem I think this song suffers from is the lyrics and the vocals. Yeah, this was definitely, in terms of like cheese, this was the cheesiest song I think Ghost has ever done. And it's mostly down to the lyrical themes and the vocals. If this would have been just an instrumental track, I think it would get more appreciation, because the instruments, the music behind this song was good. It's just the vocals and the lyrics kind of killed it for me. I just didn't really get into it on the lyrical or vocal level. But musically, it's a good song. Just, why? Why did you have these lyrics and this vocal style going on this track? But then following that, we get into Darkness at the Heart of My Love. More wonderful acoustic guitars and atmosphere to kind of set the mood, and then the verses kind of keep those acoustics going while the chorus brings in the electric guitars. And the song does get down to almost Doom territory as far as the tempo goes. It's slower, and after the first chorus, already a cool lead section, and then even after the second chorus, a more atmospheric lead, and it was quite tasty. Once again though, lyrics cheesy, but not as cheesy as the lyrics on 20s, I will say that. Then we get into Griftwood. The opening riff on here, once again, reminds me of the Cars, more of that like 80s pop vibe, but with a heavier tone. The verses and the choruses, once again, bring back that 80s pop influence that Ghost always seems to bring. More corny lyrics here and there, but the music behind it is fucking great. The piano definitely helps complement the riff on the bridge section before we get into another solid lead on this album. Yeah, definitely, again, more of that corny lyrical themes, but again, the music is great. Like, it's catchy, and I can't resist a catchy hook or a catchy riff. And then we get into, after a quick 31-second introductory instrumental with Bite of Passage, then it goes leading into Respite on the Spidal Fields, which combined together, little over a 7-minute song, and wow, what a finale this was. Creepy acoustic guitars with some great bass, like the bass work on this track especially stands above every other song in terms of bass work. The verses bring in a little bit of what Ghost used to do a lot, which was bring in a little bit of like that 70s prog rock vibe with the acoustics, and how the acoustics and the bass carry the instrumentation forward, and even an occasional time signature change. The pre-chorus bringing in a heavier riff and a more slightly grittier vocal style. Then the chorus it feels upbeat, but when you read the lyrics, it's kind of somber, so it's kind of a weird contrast with how it sounds upbeat, but yet the lyrics are not upbeat at all. And then the bridge gets a bit darker again, the bass really carrying the bridge going, and then we get into the final chorus, and afterwards, awesome drum fills, and it builds tension into the final lead section, which is, I would say this lead is like Pink Floyd levels of greatness and feel. Like, it's got that like nice, like somber, beautiful feel to it. Like, this was the best lead on the entire album because of that kind of Pink Floyd influence you kind of get. So overall, yeah, this one I know Ghost, like, my thing about Ghost, like, are they metal, or are they just hard rock? The way I always view Ghost is they're an early 70s sound, like an early 70s metal-inspired band with elements of 80s pop and 70s prog kind of mashed together. So they're like an amalgamation of early 70s metal, hard rock, prog, and 80s pop kind of mixed together. So at heart, they're a metal band. Maybe not the heaviest band out there or the scariest. Definitely, yeah, that thumbnail with me with the beanie over my head was definitely spookier than this. But musically, Ghost, Tobias and whoever he gets to play the instruments on the album, they know how to write some great hooks, and they're great songwriters. Now, and I love great songwriting, and I think most of this album has great songwriting. Like, there's some catchy riffs, some great hooks. The only issues I really have with this album, honestly, was a couple of the songs, lyrically speaking and vocally, way too cheesy. Like 20s, that was the big example of, like, too much cheese for my taste. Darkness at the Heart of My Love, not as bad, but kind of as far as the lyrics go. Even Griftwood kind of has that cheese, just a little bit here and there, but doesn't take away from the songwriting and the songs themselves for the most part. I enjoyed this album for the most part, top to bottom. Now, to answer the question, is it better than Prequel? I'm going to say yes. This is better than Prequel. And I liked Prequel because of that 80s pop vibe. I know Hannah from the Horseman podcast is going to hate me for saying that, but I love 80s pop. That's the only pop music that's worth a shit. But aside from that, like, I do like how they kind of got a little bit heavier on this album. Maybe not Melioro or Infestissimum or Opus Eponymous levels of heavy, but definitely they're heading in a better direction, I would say. Who knows, maybe the next album we get from Ghost will kind of get a little bit heavier. It's almost like recent Opeth. It's like they're gradually getting heavier after experimenting. So, we'll see. But overall, I enjoyed this album, top to bottom for the most part. I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10. It's not the greatest thing this year to come out, but it's certainly not bad. If you enjoy catchy songs, great hooks, great melodies, you're definitely going to enjoy this. But if you're like a die-hard extreme metal fan who just only wants to hear gutturals and blast beats, yeah, this may not be up your alley. But if you're a fan of wanting to hear some different influences coming into your music, this is probably going to be one you'll enjoy. I know I enjoyed it for the most part. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for Impera by Ghost. What did you guys think of this album? I can already foresee the comments. They're probably going to be split down the middle. I'm probably going to see people who love this album or hate this album. I'm kind of in the middle. I like it, but I don't love it, if that makes any sense. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this review. Horns high, and I will see you in the next one.
Alright, well, I'm on a secluded island right now. So I have no idea where y'all are.
You're just on an island paradise while we're over here fighting for our lives.
We're at the same coordinates I was at
so many
before.
sounds out
Just
there.
killed a
Right?
zombie by
Okay,
myself.
I'm here. Oh
They were multiplying!
There's so many! What the fuck?
There are so many zombies! What is this? I don't think I've ever seen that many zombies in a
I don't want to be out here
ever in my
anymore. I've
life.
decided
Must be
I don't want to be here. Okay, never mind. I'm not heroic, as it turns out.
Uh-oh, we got a badass.
Okay, well, you know what? It was fun while it lasted.
Oh god, don't give up on